still to come, the men's original program. They held the draw Tuesday night, and Olympic gold medalist Viktor Petrenko drew number 15 in the starting order, and he was happy about that. Ironically, the three-time world champ Kurt Browning picked number 16. The showdown coming up from Oakland after this.
Brian, judging figure skating is so often criticized, and indeed the process has been very much in the forefront during the recent coverage of the Olympic Games. In our previous explanations, we've emphasized that the important thing to remember is not the marks awarded by the judges, but rather the placements that those marks determine. When the skaters all skate their best, it is often quite clear the order in which they should be placed. Where it can be tricky is when the more capable skaters do not skate their best, as happened to Kurt Browning at this year's Olympics. And also to Viktor Petrenko, who started strongly but faltered as he went on. While skaters like Paul Wiley, who in the past had not skated to his potential, performed at his optimum. And so did Elvis Stojko. Then everyone closes in on the middle, and it becomes a difficult challenge to sort it out. Here, when the placements vary, as they did for Wiley, and also for Stojko, it's understandable. To help you gain an appreciation for the difficulty of the task of placing the skaters in an order, perhaps you could challenge yourself as a viewer during these championships to pick not only the winner, but to place the top 10 skaters in an order where you feel they belong. Keep track of the skaters as they perform and make your decision before the judges do. And remember, when you make your decision, you can't change it. If you have a viewing companion, explain to them why you've chosen the order you have. Chances are you're not going to agree, and perhaps neither will the judges panel. But that doesn't matter. We don't need everyone to agree. We only need a majority, 5 out of 9 judges, to determine the placement.
Thank you, Gene. And as Gene pointed out, again, it's the skater or skaters with the most first-place marks that win, not those with the highest marks. Again, a 5.8 from one judge may be a second-place mark. A 5.4 from another judge may be a first-place mark. Chris?
Thank you, Brian. This is our broadcast location at the north end of the Oakland Coliseum, just alongside the Skaters Kiss and Cry area. A lot has been made about the judging in Albertville, particularly in the men's competition, but it clearly did not affect the final standing for Kurt Browning, who, like Isabelle Brasseur and Lloyd Eisler, has a lot at stake at these World Championships.
Well, I think he had more at stake at the Olympic Games. I think the pressure's off of him a little bit. You have to remember that before the Olympic Games, he was flat on his back for 4 weeks and really only had 3 weeks of training time. That's a lot of pressure to put on somebody for the Olympic Games. But he's had more training time coming into the Worlds. He looks relaxed. He looks really good, and I've got a good feeling for him.
And Paul, there are a lot of unanswered questions about the new Olympic champion.
Well, Chris, perhaps the biggest question about Viktor Petrenko is, did he peak out at the Olympic Games? Viktor practiced so well there, like so many of the men did, but then delivered subpar performances when it came time to put it down. Viktor did a classic Viktor. He faded in the long program, and Kurt Browning has capitalized on that a number of times. The other story here is the silver medalist from the Games, Paul Wiley, is not on the American team. Mark Mitchell is here in his place. That creates another opening on the podium, and as a result, that men's podium, I think, is wide open.
Well, we're also looking forward to seeing Petr Barna, Michael Slipchuk, Elvis Stojko, but we begin with another American contender.
Representing the United States, Christopher Bowman.
The U.S. national champion Christopher Bowman finished 5th last year at the World Championships in Munich and contemplated retirement. He was 4th at the Olympic Games in Albertville, and after the Olympics also talked about quitting. But here he is again, says he's going to keep his options open, and you can never dismiss Christopher Bowman.
As you watch Christopher skate, he did place 7th in the original program in Albertville, but with a strong long moved up to 4th. So as you said, Chris, do not discount this man's talent.
Especially when there are television cameras on him. He loves to perform. He's combination. He's doing a triple lutz, double toe combination. He changed it at the Olympics. He did the triple axel combination, which he missed.
A well-skated performance, every element completed, but his base mark will have to come down slightly from the program he performed in Albertville because he elected to do the lutz combination as opposed to the axle combination.
Here's a look at his triple lutz combination. He gets nice height in the air, straight up into the second jump, a very well-performed combination.
I wonder if it was meant to be a triple-triple though, Barb, because the men are allowed to do triple-triples.
And here's a look at the triple flip. That's probably one of his best jumps. But I found the performance to be a little bit cautious.
Right on the wall. Judgment. That was...
Let's see what the judges do with it, particularly the required elements. And that's a solid set of marks, 5 5s, up to 5.7s.
I think aside from the 2 5.7s, you are seeing a lower base mark simply because he elected to do the easier jump combination.
And the presentation marks are higher. First place marks right across the board for the first of the contenders in the men's original program, Christopher Bowman of the United States. Elvis Stojko is next when we return to the 92 Worlds in Oakland. Well, it may have been a 7th place finish in Albertville, but this youngster from Richmond Hill, who celebrated his 20th birthday on Sunday, certainly made a name for himself at the Winter Games. He has, though, had a tough week of practice, landed a triple axel on his hips, has spent a lot of time this week in the hot tub. Let's see how he does in his original program.
Well, I think for Elvis, this is a very important competition. Everyone at the games thought he was under mark, but everyone's been talking about him, and now he has an opportunity to capitalize on that talk.
He makes those jumps look so easy. Here comes the combination. He'll be attempting the triple axel double toe combination. And he does it. Wow, does that look easy for him? that triple lutz off. It's very close to the boards.
Well, that was a fine example of what these competitors have to do in the original program to set themselves up for the long. You've got to come out, deliver every element, deliver them cleanly as Elvis just has, and now he's in a fabulous position going into the long program.
What amazes me about Elvis is his consistency. He's really a lot like Kurt in the past years. He comes out and he's really able to put it down when it counts, and that's very important as a competitor.
He certainly brought every Canadian to their feet here at the Oakland Coliseum.
What a combo. What a combination.
Doug Lee likes it, and so does Michelle.
Well, that was an element that had given Elvis a lot of trouble this week. He had some hard falls. That combination takes place right in front of our broadcast position, and he had to struggle with it throughout the week. But here, it looks gorgeous. Wonderful height on the axle, back up into the double toe loop.
One thing about Elvis, though, is he always jumps in the corner. All his major jumps are performed very close to the boards, and I don't know about you, but it makes me very nervous.
Well, he said he reached one peak in Albertville and would try for the next level here, and he's off to a great start. Now let's see if the judges are going to warm up to Elvis.
Well, I feel as though they're going to like him technically. Yes, and 5.7s. That's nice to see.
5.6.
Artistically, the marks will probably come down a little bit. He still needs to work on his spin, and he needs to work on his choreography, and it's the overall impression of the program.
All right, they're happy with the second set of marks. 5-2 from the Polish judge, who has Elvis seated second. He has 6 first-place marks, 3 second-place marks. So a great start for Elvis Stojko of Richmond Hill.
Hi, Barry.
Thank you.
Coming up, the Olympic gold medalist, Viktor Petrenko, when we return to the Oakland Coliseum.
Viktor Petrenko.
The new Olympic champion, still looking for his first world title. But he's already made news this week. He has signed a professional contract, will compete in a special challenge event in early April in Cincinnati, a non-sanctioned by the ISU, which means he will not compete in '94, and this will be his last World Championships under current ISU regulations.
Well, apparently on practice this morning, it was unbelievable. Kurt and Viktor and Elvis Stojko were having a very friendly jump-off. I'm not sure who won the jump-off, but I guess that doesn't matter anymore. This is what matters now. Here comes his combination. Triple axel, triple toe loop. That was perfectly executed. He did do a double toe loop on the end of the axle, but it was gorgeous.
For Viktor was his triple lutz, the required triple jump in the original program, and he has his 2 most difficult jumps out of the way. I think we'll see him settle down, relax, and really enjoy this performance.
absolutely brilliant short program. I don't know if it gets any better than that.
Well, the only thing that he could possibly have done to increase his technical difficulty in this performance was to have done a triple-triple combination. And you can see from his face, he is ecstatic about his performance. This combination is perhaps, as you mentioned, Barb, one of the nicest we're going to see here today. Gorgeous triple axel up into the double toe, pardon me. He could have done a triple toe, decided to just play it safe perhaps and do the double.
Here's a look at the lutz. Watch him, he gets good height. He's right over top of his center. Perfectly executed. But when Viktor is on, he is totally convincing. Every action is deliberate, and he is just a joy to watch.
Even a great response from the pro-Canadian crowd here. Well, some question how he won the Olympic gold medal, but he certainly wears it well now.
Well, as convincing a performance as that was, it certainly does put some pressure on Kurt, because he's the skate next, immediately behind Viktor. Here we see him now on the ice, warming up. He knows that Viktor has just finished nailing his performance, so he realizes, and he must know in his own mind, that he has to deliver also.
Here come the marks then for Petrenko. Required elements. And that's the best we've seen so far. 5.9 comes from the Romanian judge. Jane Garten is the Canadian judge at 5.8. And the presentation marks all higher. First place marks, not surprisingly, right across the board. And that puts the pressure squarely on the three-time defending world champion.
5.8. Thank you.
All the fans here, all Canadians anyway, on their feet, and it's a sea of red and white for Kurt Browning, who said he thought about the Albertville experience for a couple of days upon his return, then put it behind him. He's looking forward, and now has to put that effort by Petrenko behind him as well.
Well, he's really looked like the old Kurt this week. He's back to his relaxed self, and his jumps just seem to float like they used to. They don't seem to be a struggle that they were at the Olympic Games.
Barbie said he won't be completely relaxed, though, until the Axels finish.
Exactly the same combination as Viktor did, the triple axel double toe. He certainly looks as though he's risen to the challenge.
He still has a triple lutz to do. This is a jump that's given him problems in the past. And that was a problem. He pulled out in the middle of the jump and just did a double. But it looked as though he pulled part of his costume right off and threw it against the boards. Something must have been bothering him. Kurt small.
Barb, I don't know whether to attribute the mistake in the lutz to a mental error, a loss of focus, or what. The approach was fine. He simply did not execute the jump, and that's going to be costly.
But the fact that he did a double instead of a triple is a large deduction. Let's look at the triple axel first. Look at the height he gets. He's right over top of it, right up into the second jump.
Comparing that to Viktor, flip a coin.
Here's a look at the lutz. It just didn't look like he got enough height. His toes seemed to go in a little bit sideways, and he couldn't get the spring. But that will be very costly, the fact that he didn't attempt it. It's going to be at least about a 0.5 deduction. If he had attempted it and missed it, it would have been less of a deduction.
The great irony is he spent some time a couple of days ago talking about how much he enjoyed doing the triple lutz over his career. It was one jump that he didn't do much, and all of a sudden it clicked for him. Well, you just heard he said part of that costume hit him in the eye, and that's why he got rid of it.
God. Nice answer. Thanks.
He knows the error. He knows what that's going to cost him. And
Put in my toe, and it was like it just gave way, like it just never went up. Yeah, like I reach back rotation, put in the toe, and it just, it's like nothing happened, and then I didn't go for it. And then I landed it, and I'm like, was that double or triple? No, it was double.
Well, he just told you exactly what happened.
And
Coach
really,
Michael Uranic was trying to stress the positive like the Axels, but
it just goes to show that even when you think everything is going to happen, something doesn't.
Oh, somebody missed the lutz.
and it was Jane Garden 5'9".
It was. Oh, did she ever miss it?
Wow.
The Canadian judge at 5'9". While considering the deduction you expected, the American and Australian marks are high as well. They range from 5'4" to that 5'9". Presentation marks are warranted and much higher. Browning has a first-place mark from Canada. He has second-place marks from 5 of the judges, a third-place mark from Romania and Japan, and a fourth-place mark from China. So Kurt Browning right now second behind Petrenko and ahead of Elvis Stojko. We'll be back with more from Oakland after this.
Collar, was it bothering you?
Yeah, it's just a collar. It's supposed to stay on my neck through the whole program, and unfortunately it came off halfway through. And I thought I could get her all off in one yank. It took me a couple pulls. And the only thing the collar really did was just throw me off for the choreography for the next minute. And, you know, I kind of was a little bit lost. But it had nothing to do with the double lutz. And frankly, I don't know what happened. I just put my toe in, and it didn't go up into the air.
Well, it surprised me when you came off. You said, I said to myself, did I do a triple or a double? You were supposed to do the triple. What exactly happened?
I think I just put in my toe, and I'm used to, it's been going so well all week, I'm used to a lot of lift and a lot of time in the air. And that time it was like the ice just gave away, or I was too stiff. But I was looking forward to it. I felt great. And I think it caught me by surprise. So even when I skated out of it, I said to myself, did I do 2 or 3 revolutions? And I wasn't impressed with myself, and I realized I did 2. But sometimes you get lucky. At the Olympics, I wasn't lucky. Here I got a little bit lucky with the marks, and I'm in a good shape to fight for the gold still. So someone give me a break upstairs, and we've got to capitalize on it tomorrow.
All right. In spite of missing the triple, you're more relaxed than I've seen you in a long time.
Yeah.
How have you dealt with the pressure of what happened in Albertville? How have you become like this after France?
Actually, Albertville wasn't my, I wasn't peaked for Albertville, and so everyone else came home from the Olympics and had to go down and come back up, whereas I just kept training. And now I'm really ready to compete. I was having a good time out there, even though a couple things went wrong. I really feel ready to compete. I'm glad the short's done. Let's get on to my best event, which is the long program.
Look forward to that. We'll have it tomorrow.
I'll be there.
All right. Kurt Browning. Chris?
Representing Canada, Michael Slipchuk.
The Canadian champion, Michael Slipchuk, still beaming from his Olympic experience. He was the 8th after the original program in Albertville, 9th overall, but he said he skated the best short program he possibly could.
Well, he was one of the few in the men's event to peak at the Olympic Games. There were very few good performances, and I'll be very impressed if he can repeat here.
Well, if he can ride the wave of confidence that he received upon becoming Canada's men's champion, perhaps he will deliver again.
Here's the triple axel combo. Touchdown with the hand, but he landed it. Triple lutz jump. This is a jump he has had difficulties with, and he's changed it to a triple toe loop, playing it safe. He looks like he got a little bit too relaxed there. Hit his toe pick.
Men's figure skating that often goes by unnoticed is their spinning ability. And for Michael, it's one of his better elements. All of his spins here were well centered, and that is something that the judges are seriously taking into consideration when marking an original performance.
And it's something that he has really improved upon over the last year.
Tell you what, these skaters have home ice advantage from Canada in this building. These fans are terrific.
Michael's triple axel was the only element, the combination was the only element he had trouble with. He does touch down with his hand, but executes the element, and he's looking at only a 0.2 deduction for that touchdown.
Unless they deduct for the trip on the footwork as well. Here's a look at the triple toe. Good height, good landing. But again, this was not as difficult as the triple lutz that many of the other men are attempting.
No, I don't think so.
With Coach Jan Mark.
Well, the stumble in the footwork was really a silly little mistake. As you mentioned during the performance, perhaps lost concentration. And I don't know how the judges would look at that because it really didn't affect any particular element.
Well, they may look at it as though it affected the footwork. That's an element.
Spins were good that time.
Yeah.
Center.
It's just that you don't often see that happen.
Hello at home, everyone.
Well, the deduction sheet does show a 0.3 deduction for a fall and a stumble. So it'll be interesting to see what marks come up here for Michael's required elements.
He liked to spin as much as you did, but these marks are a little bit of a variance. 4.9 from the German judge, 4.8 from the United States and Australia, up to a 5.3 from China and Finland.
Thank you. The marks for presentation.
Well, much better performance than the last time he was in this building at Skate America. Great second set of marks. At Skate America here in Oakland, he was 10th in a field of 10. But right now, Michael Slipchuk is in 6th place. Now let's join Brian Williams with Alexei Urmanov of the CIS was 5th at the Olympics. much like Elvis Stojko, one of the new breed trying to make an impression with the judges here at the World Championships.
Well, although he is unable to attempt it here in the original program, Alexei has made his mark with his quad, which when executed well in the long program is breathtaking.
He has had some problems with inconsistency this week in practice. He did have a bad fall on the warm-up on the triple axel. And we'll take a look at it right now. Whoa. The turn in between the two jumps will cost him.
But Barb, to show the strength to hang on to that landing, it was so very over-rotated, landed on an inside edge. He really showed power in hanging on to that landing. For Alexei, a strong performance. A little bit of trouble with the combination, a pass of about 0.2 when the required marks come up, but it's certainly going to leave him in a strong position to shoot for the podium after this original program.
It just amazed me that he pulled this off. Watch the lean that he's on. He's very over-rotated, but he just hangs on and goes up into the second jump. That was really amazing that he could hang on to that.
He is a strong jumper. This double axel, nice height, nice arm position, which is critical. Shoulders and hips must remain square in all jumps if you have any aspirations of landing them cleanly.
What I would like to see him do in the next couple of years is really develop his artistic side. Something bothers me about his backward stroking. He's not smooth like Petrenko, like Browning. I think he just really needs to work on that.
Well, he falls into much the same category as Canada's own Elvis Stojko. Technically, these men are at the top of the pack. It's the artistic side of their performance that needs to work on, and it'll be that skater who develops the quickest in that area that's going to mount that podium in '94.
And I think what's interesting is how these marks will compare with Elvis, who right now is standing in third place. Petrenko leading Browning second, then it's Stojko, and it'll be interesting to see how the judges fit Alexei Urmanov into this equation. His coach is Alexei Machine, who is one of the more interesting coaches on the international scene. A real pleasure to talk to.
Well, so far as those coaches from the CIS go, he is perhaps the most colorful of their coaching fraternity.
Isn't it interesting? Last year in Munich, both Alexei and Elvis completed the quad, and that was the big story for them last year. Well, this year, less emphasis on that because now they're contenders as well. He was 8th in Munich.
The judges mark.
Let's see what the judges do with Urmanov.
5.3.
Those marks not as high as I think he might have anticipated. 5 2s, 3s, and 4s for Urmanov. And this bodes well for Stojko.
Well, Stojko did complete all the elements. There were no deductions for the elements, so that is where he beat Urmanov.
Urmanov's artistic marks go up. He was the bronze medalist at the European Championships, but he is back in 6th place. His best mark, a 4th place mark from Poland. So Urmanov is 6th, and Stojko continues to hang on to 3rd place. Back with more from Oakland after this. Hard to skate, and when you have to wait that long, it might be as nerve-wracking as waiting for your wife to deliver a baby. And Peter's also waiting for that. His wife is due any time now. We've joked about perhaps him wearing a pager during this program. Petr Barna, the European champion from Czechoslovakia.
Well, I'd be willing to guess that Peter was sitting back at the official hotel as this show is being fed closed circuit to the hotel. He probably watched the first 2 or 3 flights in the comfort of his own room.
Peter in the past has been a very consistent original program skater. He's opening here with a triple left, triple toe combination. Very well done.
Well, what so impresses me about Peter is his awareness of his body. Every movement is there for a reason, and as a result, his artistic impression to me is perhaps one of, if not the best in this competition.
Watch this triple lutz combination. It's great height, and I think he's even higher on the second jump. Now, the triple lutz isn't as difficult as the triple axel, but he did do it in combination with another triple, which is very difficult.
And that triple loop was the best that we probably have seen out here today.
He's the Olympic bronze medalist. He was second after the original program in Albertville, and we have seen him skate so well in the past in the original program. This is his last competition. He'll retire at the end of this event, and he'd like to make amends for last year in Munich. Remember, he was pushed off the podium. That great late skate by Todd Eldredge pushed Peter to fourth. Right now, two Canadians in the top three, but we would expect Barna would change that. And those marks would certainly indicate that. 5 9s from Finland and Poland.
The marks for presentation.
Presentation, he's got a perfect 6 as he did last year in Munich. Petr Barna gets a perfect 6 from the German judge. He has 3 first-place marks, 4 second-place marks, and 2 third-place marks. Barna moves into second spot. Leads after the men's original program. Petr Barna is second, and Kurt Browning is in contention for the gold medal. He is third. How about Elvis Stojko, also in medal contention in 4th place, and Canada has 3 men in the top 10 as Michael Slipchuk finishes 9th after the original program. Welcome back to the Oakland Coliseum. 3 Canadians in the top 10 after the original program. Michael Slipchuk is 9th. He was 9th at the Olympic Games, and he has a couple of decisions coming up. In the next couple of months, he'll decide whether to continue his amateur career, but there's a more immediate decision whether or not to try a quad. And he told us that he hadn't decided skating out onto the ice.
Well, he said at the Olympics he didn't decide until he was actually out there in his performance. So I'm sure it'll depend on how the first triple axel goes.
He looked a little tense, he looked a little tentative, and as a result, he didn't push that landing through and had to touch down with his one hand. I think that was a scheduled combination, and in the first jump, the triple toe that he attempted, he was simply over-rotated and in no position to land it, and therefore could not even attempt the second jump of the combination. That's frustrating, Barb, when you're out there and it's obvious that Michael is not on top of himself. By that I mean every time he jumps, he's not getting his shoulders, hips to line up over his skating side when he goes to land. And he's had 3 jumps escape him out here this afternoon.
Competition, Michael had an absolutely disastrous performance. Now, I wouldn't term this as disastrous, but it certainly wasn't the performance he's looking for.
Well, we've talked a lot about the mental mindset of the competitors coming into this competition. Michael, as we watch him execute this triple lutz, one of the ones he did manage to execute in the program, he's had a great season up till this point. This triple axel, he never ever gets out of it correctly. He's over-rotated, doesn't break out soon enough, and therefore goes down. But for Michael to have won the Canadian Championship and then put in an outstanding performance at the Olympic Games, he'd already delivered 2 outstanding performances at the international level. For others who have come here and didn't do that, they were still hungry. They still had something to prove, and perhaps because Michael had had such a successful season up to this point, he didn't have the drive that a lot of other people here are having.
The Worlds are so tough simply because of the fact that they're so close to the Olympic Games, and the skaters are really trying to reach their peak at the Olympics, and 3 weeks in between just isn't quite enough to come down and then get back up to put on a great performance only 3 weeks later.
I don't know if you had rinks you just didn't like skating in, but this rink has haunted him this year, and he made the point when he fell on that simple bit of footwork in the original program that he fell in the exact same spot on the ice that he did at Skate America, and I'm sure there were some pieces of ice out there he didn't want to see again. 26 last week, his family here in the crowd. I met him souvenir shopping in Albertville, and he had a list a mile long, and when I asked him if he thought about going to Lillehammer, he said, I'm not sure I could afford another shopping trip like that for souvenirs. He said, if you think skating in the Olympics is pressure, you should have to buy all these souvenirs for people back home. Well, he was 9th and in danger of falling out of the top 10. And there is the first set for Michael Slipchuk.
I overheard him say there to his coach, Jan Almark, that he just wasn't on. That was, as I mentioned during the performance, he simply was not over top of his skating side through a lot of those jumps.
There's the second set of marks. Michael Slipchuk has a 10th place mark and a 12th place mark, so he will definitely tumble out of the top 10. We'll be back with more from the Oakland Coliseum. In the same position he was in at the Olympics, second after the original program. He had the perfect 6 yesterday, but his last 3 long programs, he has struggled. Fell out of the medals in Munich. He barely hung on for his gold at Lausanne, and he slipped to 3rd at Albertville. How was his warm-up?
Well, I thought all of the men in this flight looked really tight. They all feel as though they can win this competition, and there was a serious, very serious atmosphere out there. Peter perhaps has the biggest challenge because he is skating first in this flight with the balance to come, so the judges are going to have to give him marks that could possibly let him win, but not block themselves in and not leave enough marks to put someone else who could come out and skate a better performance.
Now, Peter is the only skater in the top that will not be attempting a triple axel, but he does have a quad planned, and it's his first jump.
Over-rotated, an extra turn on the landing, but still did it on 1 foot.
combination is very important to him. Triple lutz, triple toe. And he singled out on the toe.
This performance, to me, is already shades of Europeans, where he was the European champion, but won the title with a performance like this. Struggled with its technical side, I worry that it may not be enough to keep him on the podium.
Kurt Browning is coming up next, and when we return to Oakland, we'll have the marks for the Czechoslovakian champion, Petr Barna. Oakland, as we await the marks for Petr Barna, we can give you the order of skating here. Barna, then Kurt Browning is on the ice warming up. Elvis Stojko after that. Todd Eldredge, Viktor Petrenko, and then Christopher Bowman. And clearly Petr Barna has knocked himself out of gold medal contention.
This is the one jump that Petr opened his performance with, the attempted quad, and as you can see, he actually over-rotated a little bit and had to tack on an extra turn in an effort to save the jump.
It's not very often you see an over-rotated quad.
Went to the quad last year because he just could not execute the triple axel. He said that's like jumping off a bridge for him, so he went to the quad because he felt he needed that to keep up with these other terrific jumpers.
Well, he needed that, but he also needed his triple lutz, triple toe combination, which he missed at the very beginning of the program, because without the triple axel, he just didn't have the technical difficulty.
There are the technical marks for Petr, and clearly these will not be enough. In fact, his medal hopes are really in jeopardy here. We hesitate to call this his last amateur competition. He had announced that this would be his last. Now he says it might not be because the World Championships are in Prague next year. Second set of marks come up quite a bit. But Barna really in trouble of falling out of the medal picture as he did last year in Munich. Well, there was quite a wait for Barna's marks, and Kurt Browning has been on the ice for some time. The first to execute the quad, going after a different quad now, attempting to win his 4th straight world title. First one in Paris, then Halifax, Munich, and he's after another one in Oakland, trying to become the first since Scott Hamilton of the United States.
Well, after the Olympics, Kurt went home and reorganized his long program. He's now opening with the triple axel combination, then the triple lutz combination, and then the very difficult combination, triple Salchow, triple loop, and I think we'll get the real feel for this program in the very first jump, the triple axel combination.
Barbie told us yesterday, I've worked very hard this year. I'm going to make it all work out. Let's see if he does.
For at the Olympic Games.
Has just knocked off 2 of the elements that Kurt is known for and Kurt is best at. That is triple combinations, and he already has 2 in the bag.
Well, the next one has been giving him some problems. The triple Salchow, triple loop combination. Jump, he had to tack on a little extra turn on the end of it to save it, but that's far better than going down. Clenching his teeth, so he is really going for this performance. Said, what should I do? Meaning whether or not he should do the triple or the double lutz. He did it. It looked like he two-footed it, but that's for the judges to decide.
Well, Kurt was certainly out there on a mission today. One of those being to deliver a program. He was skating to Stravinsky's Firebird, and when you do a concept program like this, it's nice to have an opportunity to deliver it as well as you possibly can. Kurt has not had that opportunity up to this point, and I think he can feel pretty good about giving us a complete performance for the first time this season.
Well, he certainly looks pleased with that performance. There was a few mistakes, but I think this is really going to come down to how Viktor skates.
All right, we'll be back for Kurt Browning's marks in a moment when we return to the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. Welcome back, Kurt Browning and Coach
Hey,
Michael
Jeremy, how you doing
Urmanov.
at home? Karen McLean.
Doesn't have as many to say hi to because a lot of the family is here in the building. Talked to his dad yesterday, and he said, I just hope we see the real Kurt Browning here. There's Dad just to the right of that Canadian flag.
For Kurt Browning for technical merit.
And here come the marks.
5.9.
And they're good ones. 5 7s, 8s, and 9s.
Well, I'm a little astounded with the 5.9 because there were definitely errors in that program.
That's the German judge that gave Petr Barna the perfect 6 in the original program. Artistic marks, and this is strange, they come down in a lot of cases. He has 7 first-place marks and 2 second-place marks right now, but Kurt Browning is the leader. He's gone ahead of Petr Barna, so he's made up a spot, but whether that's enough to beat Viktor Petrenko and Elvis Stojko remains to be seen. And look who's next. Elvis Stojko, who certainly got his feet wet at the Olympics skating in the final group. He really wasn't a medal contender there, but he is here. And he looked so loose just a few minutes ago, like this is where he expected to be.
Well, with Petr Barna having skated as poorly as he did, this really sets the stage for Elvis with a strong performance moving up onto the podium.
He said that he's decided not to do the quad here today. He would rather go with a clean program. His next jump is the triple axel, triple toe combination. The triple axel double toe combination, but I don't think that matters a bit. Putting down a performance here as good at least or almost better than the Olympics.
Well, as much as Michael Slipchuk was off, Elvis appears to be on. program really says something. Tried 2 triple axels in the program means he feels confident with that jump. He feels comfortable with it, and he did one of every triple in the book. Sow, toe, loop, flip, lutz, and the axel in combination. So you're right, Barb. They cannot ignore this man's technical ability.
Well, he has certainly ignited this audience. Usually the skater wants a second chance. Elvis has given the judges a second chance. Let's see what they do with it. Back with more in a minute. In Oakland with Elvis Stojko, Doug Lee, Michelle Lee, Elvis's coaches on perhaps a historic night in Canadian skating. The possibility here for 2 Canadians in the top 3. Was it ever, Doug? A great way for Elvis to finish the year, and it's not finished yet because we are awaiting critical marks. And is it a night where the
7 Arabians at the end are a trademark
baton is passed from one Canadian star to another as well? The judges will also decide that.
Well, what amazes me is the fact that he had such an outstanding performance at the Olympics, came back 3 weeks later and put on just as great a performance.
He could very easily have sat back, felt very good about what he did at the games, said to himself, well, I've made my mark, I'm going to go to Worlds, but I'm looking for next year. Elvis isn't looking at next year, he's looking at right here and now.
Well, he likes the first set of marks, 5.9 from Jane Garden of Canada, 5 7s and 8s.
All right, the second mark.
Remember, he had the second best set of technical marks in Albertville behind Viktor Petrenko. The artistic marks have hurt him in the past. He said he worked very hard on that. The choreography and the spins, well, they come down again. He has second place marks from 4 of the judges, third place marks from 4. And Elvis Stojko is still behind Kurt Browning, but he's ahead of Petr Barna, so he is in contention for a medal, and never has Canada had 2 in one event.
Todd Eldredge.
And not in the last 12 years has an American been kept off the podium in the men's competition. Here is last year's bronze medalist, Todd Eldredge, who is currently in 6th place. Vastly improved from his 10th place performance in Albertville. Like Kurt Browning, he's had an injury-plagued year, but has shown rapid improvement here.
Well, their 2 seasons have gone so very similar. They both suffered the same type of injury, a back injury. They both missed competing at their national championships. And here they are at the Worlds, both fighting to get back up on the podium after missing it in Albertville.
And a very nice opening with a triple axel double toe combination. afford to make those types of mistakes if he wants to do any movement at all in the standings.
Triple lutz, and it appeared as though Todd's toe didn't plant correctly, and he popped it into a single. He comes back to the other end of the ice, though, and does a nice double toe, triple toe combination.
From the Olympics, but I certainly don't think this can beat Elvis, because technically Elvis just has him beat all over the place.
Well, not only that, but choreographically this program isn't convincing to me. To me, it almost looks like he attempted to almost copy the look of Brian Boitano in 1988, and as a result, I take that as a sign of a lack of originality.
All right, remember, coming up next is Viktor Petrenko, the Olympic champion. The marks for Todd Eldredge when we return. World silver medalist, the new Olympic champion, trying to cap his brilliant amateur career with his first world championship. Viktor Petrenko, 2 years of age from the CIS, and he looked invincible in the original program. Quite a moment right before the warm-up when Browning and Petrenko shook hands and wished each other well, and now Petrenko will try to knock Browning out of first place.
Pick up speed going into his opening combination. Triple axel, triple toe. And he opens very nicely. But as we all know, what happens to Viktor later on in the program is really what matters, because he has a history of really going downhill from here.
And he has complained this week of fatigue.
That was to have been a triple sow. He executed a double.
that Viktor topped at the Olympics. He did a single flip instead of the planned triple at the Olympics, and this time he did a double. But he just followed it up with a triple loop. Part of the program.
And I think he's going to need a breather, Barb, because if he wants to push this program over the top, which I think he's going to have to do in order to win, he's got to do it in the next minute and a half. Fraternity have commented about the fact that it really would be a shame if Viktor Petrenko was to complete his amateur career and have never won a world championship. He is now the Olympic champion, and I think if he could win a world title, it would complete a very successful career.
Watch this triple axel. He gets right over top of himself, great height, and straight up into the double toe.
This triple lutz is only a single jump, not in combination, but still nicely executed.
It's still in the hands of the judges. He skated off in Munich and thought he'd won and lost a 5-4 judges decision. But he brought this house down.
Well, even though he won Olympic gold, he didn't put the performance down at the Olympics that he wanted. Now, this was not by any means as far as he can go. He did 2 double jumps instead of triples, but I'm sure he's very, very ecstatic with this performance.
Especially in light of the fact that, like a number of other competitors here at this World Championship, it is his final appearance at the Amateur World Championship. He has decided to move on to a professional career, and there's no better way to go out than with a performance like that.
And also because of the fact that he just has yet to really put down a great long program. And he did it here today.
The last Olympic men's champion not to repeat or follow it up with a world championship was Robin Cousins in 1980, beaten by Jan Hoffman.
As we look at his triple loop, again, not in combination, but a very cleanly executed jump.
Here come the marks. 5-6 from the finish judge, but there are 5 9s on the board. 4 of them, and 1 is from the Canadian judge, Gene Gart, and the crowd responding to the 5-6. Well, those marks should be enough because he comes up artistically. There's a 6 and another 6. Australia and France give him perfect marks. The rest are 5.9s. Viktor Petrenko's the world champion. He has first place marks from all 9 judges. Petrenko first, Browning second, Stojko's third. Mitchell of the United States is fourth. Petr Barna has dropped to fifth. So Canada will not win gold, but will Canada win 2 medals, silver and bronze? Only one skater left to change the order, and that's Christopher Bowman, who moved from 7th to 4th in Albertville. It's been another stormy year for him, in 5th place going into this long program.
Well, Christopher said yesterday, after the original program, this isn't over yet. I'm still within striking distance, so he's determined out here today.
Program in Albertville, and he dropped it for his original program here in Oakland.
And it was a double.
He was going so slow into it, Barb. I can't imagine him even getting close to attempting and completing the triple. Jumps. The thing that disturbs me the most about them is that when he finishes a jump, especially in combination, he's almost at a virtual standstill.
Well, I think that has something to do with the fact that he really slows down going into the jumps. He really telegraphs his jumps.
injury. And with only 15 seconds to go, he's going to skate it through.
It's a lot like Joanna Ing at the World Junior Championships. Oh, a lot's been said about Christopher Bowman, but he showed a lot of heart in the last 30 seconds of this program.
Well, technically, it didn't compare to Elvis Stojko. There just wasn't the combinations. I don't think he has the speed. On my scorecard, I put Elvis ahead and give the Canadians 2 medals.
All right, we'll have the marks for Christopher in a moment, but right now, let's join Brian Williams standing by with the new world champion.
All right, Chris, the new world champion indeed, Viktor Petrenko, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Now, you told me yesterday you were very, very tired after the original program. The Olympics was the peak for you. I thought maybe you'd weaken late in the program today being so long, but you seem to get stronger.
Well, I was tired also, but I tried to do everything like a fresh and didn't show anyone about I'm tired.
So you felt good at the end?
Well, yeah, I think so.
All right, a great way to end your amateur career. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, stand by. We're going to talk with your friend Kurt Browning and Elvis Stojko. The world champion is Viktor Petrenko. Chris, let's go back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Brian. Christopher Bowman really struggled to get off the ice as he's with John Nixon. Immediately, the U.S. medical staff is checking him out. Let's find out what happened.
Here we're going to see just what happened. I thought I saw his skate just plant the kickboard right there, and then he lands on that knee. And it was really a mental error. When one allows oneself to get too close to the boards, you're just not totally in tune with your surroundings.
It didn't look like he landed square on the knee. I think maybe he might have twisted it.
I just... oh, don't pull on it. Have to loosen this up a little bit. Here, right in there.
Maybe it isn't his name.
Possibly an ankle. It's hard to tell. He's complaining as they take his skate off, and therefore it perhaps was an ankle that twisted and not necessarily his knee as we originally had thought.
I don't want it.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it's his ankle or a foot injury of some sort.
Well, there are the marks for technical merit, and they will not affect the final standings, I don't think. It looks very much like Canada will win 2 medals for the first time ever in a singles competition. They're the artistic marks. They're all over the board, 5/8 but 5/3s. Bowman has 3 third-place marks, 2 fourth-place marks, but he has 7th and 8th place marks as well. And so Kurt Browning will indeed win silver, and Elvis Stojko with a bronze medal. So Elvis has arrived on the international scene. Christopher Bowman is 4th, and we're going down to join Brian Williams with those 2 great Canadians.
All right, Chris, history made. 2 Canadians on the victory podium. Elvis, your first time. We'll talk to you in just a minute. The World Championship string stops at 3.
Yeah, so it does. I gave it a good fight today, and if there was any program I was going to lose it on, it would have been today. Just a little bit of a slip. Got nervous halfway through instead of at the beginning, and fought back. I gave Viktor a good run, and I think his triple axel at the end put the clincher on it for him.
Did you get any ribbing from your fellow skaters? By your own admission, you were lucky yesterday. You said to me the judges missed the fact that I missed a triple lutz. Any ribbing from the skaters?
I think everyone's too busy with their own to worry about the judges or me, and no, the judges, but some of my teammates gave me a little bit of a hard time, but I'm thankful. Sometimes the luck falls your way and you got to take advantage of it.
All right, you had the luck yesterday in the original program. A final question. They want you for the medals. What did you say to your coach, Michael Uranek, as you came around about 3 minutes into the program?
I just yelled at to him and said, anything different? We're going to try anything new, and he sort of didn't give me any intention, so I thought we'll go for the clean ending and hope Viktor makes some mistakes.
All right, going to stay an amateur or are you going to retire?
I don't know. I'll let you know instead.
All right, Kurt Browning. Kurt, you have to go. Just cut in front of us here. Elvis is in the building from Richmond Hill, Ontario. Your first medal, a bronze at the World Championships. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Now tell me something. Is this rink big enough for you? You reminded me of Midori Ito. I thought you were going to jump out of here. You nearly hit the boards 2 or 3 times.
It was a little scary out there. At the beginning of the program, I can get a feel of how far I am from the boards. And later on, as you get into the program, you start to let go a little bit. And I'm used to Olympic-size ice surface, so it was getting a bit close. But I didn't hit them, so that was all right.
All right, they're calling for you in the stands. I want one more question here. You attempted virtually every triple in the book tonight. Was that your strategy?
Yeah, the strategy was to do everything. I know I can do all the triples, and I've done it before. I did it at Olympics, and I knew I could do it again, and they only step out of the second axle, and it was not bad.
All right, it was not bad indeed. Congratulations. 2 Canadians on the medal podium here at the World Championships in Oakland, California. We will come back and see the medal presentations to Petrenko, Browning, and Stojko live from Oakland after this.
World champion to go along with his Olympic gold medal. And because he's been so close so often, I think this might be just as sweet.
Well, unlike his Olympic gold, which many people say was the best performance of a bad bunch, I think Viktor came out here and won this title. He came out, skated strongly with a performance that lets everybody say, yes, he is the world champion.
And this time it was really the best of a good bunch because the quality of this competition was 10 times better than anything we saw at the Olympics.
Well, the streak's over. 3 world championships and now a silver medal for Kurt Browning.
Well, he's delighted because of the fact that coming in here, the memory of his last performance was not a good one. To have your season end with a much, much improved skate is something that makes the year all worthwhile in the end.
Kurt's not used to anywhere but the top. He wasn't sure what podium to be on. Here's Elvis Stojko, and how sweet this is. Perhaps the start of a new era in Canadian skating. As he come of age in 1 year. Turned 20 last Sunday and a late birthday present here in Oakland.
Presenting the medals is Olaf Poulsen, the ISU representative at these championships and the president of the International Skating Union.
Viktor Petrenko will turn pro after this event. He'll compete in a special pro challenge in Cincinnati in April, and his agent Michael Rosenberg says by the time he's finished touring this year, he will be set financially for life. Kurt Browning at the crossroads in his career. He's got a big decision to make.
Well, for Kurt, the only thing he doesn't have in his amateur career is an Olympic gold medal. It's well within his grasp. He has a unique opportunity that no other winter athlete will ever have. That is to be able to compete in 2 Olympic Games in the span of 2 years. And I think he, his agent, and his group will sit down and discuss just what he'll do.
But he's got to hold off that guy, the bronze medalist, Elvis Stojko, who is definitely targeted for Lillehammer.
The referee and assistant referee of this
Elvis reminds me a little bit of Kurt Browning himself back in '88.